Warning, the following audio transmission will forever change your outlook on society. You will no longer believe the narrative. You are about to wake up and see things for what they really are. News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. Today is Friday, January 16th, 2026. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. The website, www.jestersvoice.com. Everywhere on social media, at Jester Dooms. Go ahead, find me, add me, interact with my content. It would be fantastic. All right, it's Friday. You know what that means.
It's Friday, Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. And Friday, Friday,
Put a baby in there.
down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
You're almost to the weekend. You're out of energy. You're waking up. You're listening to me in the car as you're driving to work. Just suck down that coffee, man. Go to work and tell your boss to fuck off, because for the next 2 days of the weekend, he can't fucking touch you. As much as you don't want to go back to that shithole, you know you're going to have to on Monday. So, and embrace some weekend planning. Maybe go see that movie you haven't wanted to take the time to go see that's still in theaters maybe. Maybe go out and go to that concert that your friend's been telling you about. Go watch that band this weekend they've been talking about. Maybe just go out with your friends and have a good time. Maybe spend some time with the family. Maybe you say fuck the to-do list this weekend and you just take a you weekend. I don't know. Maybe you just sit around the house all day and do nothing. Maybe you just need some you time. Okay? Maybe that's what it is. But whatever it is, embrace what you want to do for the weekend within the reasonable confines of the law and enjoy yourself. Okay? Do that, because we have a very short, limited time on this planet, and I don't feel like we should be all sorts of pissed off and exhausted all the time, because that's how everybody's living their life now. They're pissed off, they're tired, they're finding no joy in life anymore. They're just done. It's constant work and repetition until your body's absolutely destroyed. Then you're finally where you want in life. You got a few good years, then you're dead. Or you're in a nursing home, and then it sucks, right? So we're using our good golden years of our life. Like they say your golden years are your old years. Like, why? Like, cool. Like, fuck, I get to go on a cruise with a bunch of people when I'm retired and they're all old too and my dick doesn't work. That sounds like fucking fun. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, I want to do that. Like, no, I want to live life now while I'm young and I can enjoy it. You think I'm going to want to get on a plane at fucking 70 when I'm shitting my pants and my ears are popping and my dentures are fucking falling out? I don't know what the hell's going on, and I don't know if I shit my pants or the guy next to me shit my pants. Like, no, that doesn't sound like fun. I want to live life now when I can enjoy it. I would rather sit there in the nursing home telling stories with the other fuckers in the nursing home that don't know who I am half the time, and, at least, reminisce about the things I did versus like trying to get my ass on a plane with a broken fucking hip. All right. None of that sounds fantastic. Okay. That's all I want to do. Go on vacation, fall off the fucking jetway, be all tore up for vacation, have to fly right back. Well, that was great. Fantastic. No, I don't think so. Fuck that. Live your life now, man. Don't wait. Don't wait. Embrace things now. Do things now. Be smart about your finances so you can do said capable things. That's it. And actually, I have a topic for discussion tonight on finances and doing smart things. So we're gonna get into that a little bit on the show. If you guys didn't hear yesterday's announcement on the show, the Doom Daily Show may be jumping to a new channel. And when that does happen, you may or may not have to give the show a refollow. I'm pretty sure you will, because it's probably going to have a new RSS feed. We're still kind of working out the details on that behind the scenes, but whenever the time comes, I will let you know. I just want everybody to kind of be fully aware that this change might be coming that way. If you miss a couple shows and you wake up one day and you're like, where'd it go? Did they stop? Like, no, we didn't stop. We just moved, and you weren't listening enough to know. So I'm going to make sure to reiterate this up until we decide to do it or not do it. It's still very up in the air currently. All right. So with that being said, let's see here. Well, yesterday, what consisted of yesterday? Yesterday, I did some chores around the homestead, went out to dinner with my family, did some running around, went to the grocery store, did some grocery shopping. Thursday was just like a very just kind of blah, like not hype eventful day. There was just like kind of like It's kind of like a black cloud kind of day. There was just like kind of disappointing news like throughout the day. Like the kids are being bad, getting reports of that. Other things aren't going so hot, and just like kind of just a bleak day. And I'd kind of avoided social media and avoided doing a lot of things just because it was kind of that black cloud kind of day. I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Nothing's going right today. I should have just stayed in bed all day. It was one of those kind of days. And we all have these days from time to time, but man, yesterday was like, it just like drug out, just a very long day. Plus the weather has turned to shit in the realm of being very, very cold. So I've got frozen lines on the homestead now, and it's kind of a shit show, so to speak, at the moment. Not so fantastic, but it's okay. We're going to get through it the best way we can, and the best way we can get through it is to just persevere and push on, right? Tomorrow's a better day. A list of things for me to do today. Let's see here. I should be in the excavator here in a little while doing a live and digging dirt. I have a lot of dirt to move in a very short period of time, being that if you listen to yesterday's show, I talked about how the plans on the homestead for the foundation, we've kind of added some things, and it's kind of changed time frames on things. And I talked to my other contractor today. I said, hey, man, we might need to push back to March. He was like, dude, that's fine. We're good. And he said, plus the weather's been shitty. He said, so I would rather have a little bit nicer weather. So hopefully we get nicer weather in March. And I said, okay, that's cool. We'll do that. So let's just take February off the table for now, because I'm not going to be ready. And he was like, sure, rock and roll. I was like, okay. Good deal, man. Good deal. So yeah, I should be out digging dirt today, and I would highly encourage you to come into the TikTok live and bullshit with me. It helps keep my day going. At Jester_Dooms on the TikTok. That's where I'll be live. So come on in and participate in my excavator live, and we'll be back right after these messages.
Hey, Producer Scooter here. First off, thank you for downloading and participating in the wide world of Jester Doom. Please be sure to check out jestersvoice.com website. Everything you want to know is located on jestersvoice.com. If you're looking for salacious details, it's on jestersvoice.com. Don't forget to share the show with your friends and even with all your enemies. And now, back to the musings of Jester Doom.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I'm your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Find me everywhere on social media at Jester_Dooms. Yep, the website, www.jestersvoice.com. Go on there, leave me an audio message. Okay, so I gotta tell the story, part of my bad news of yesterday. So I've really been wanting to get a skid steer, okay? Now, financially, I don't want a skid steer because I don't want another added payment. We don't have very many monthly payments to begin with now. Our cost of living is we've got a pretty good lock and handle on it. And I just don't think that I want to add in any more extra payments as of right now. So I have a lovely John Deere tractor, and I've been wanting to get away from John Deere products because they're literally building things to be obsolete and continuously go back to the dealer for everything. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Tire sizes are very specific. You have to like either order tires from China or get them straight through the dealer because they're very odd. Batteries are even designed specifically to go in certain, into certain brackets that they have inside the machines to where you have to buy the John Deere battery, like just all these different things, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of done because first off, everything at the dealer is more expensive, so I'm forced to buy more expensive parts. And then secondly, it's like there's no dealers close by, so now I'm forced to travel. So my answer to my battery in my tractor was to simply rip out that bracket, get a regular battery from fucking the auto parts store and hold it in there with a bungee cord, because that in turn was easier, cheaper, and faster than going to the fucking dealer to buy their more expensive product, right? So things like that, I'm just wanting to get away from the John Deere products. I'm sick of the specialty shit. It's getting really ridiculous. And the internet is full of horror stories now in John Deere products. So I'm wanting out of this shit. So I don't have skid steer money, but I do have a tractor that has some value. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I did my due diligence on the tractor and every part and implementation I have for this machine. Without the equipment trailer, the resale value of this equipment is $39,950. Okay. Now, obviously, the used markets do fluctuate. So that price is not going to be set in stone indefinitely. That might go down next week. It might go up next week. You know, there might be a guy that has almost enough to purchase this and I give him a break just because I want it gone. So that's not a hard set number. Now, if I factor in the equipment trailer with it, we are closer to the neighborhood of 34,000, like 44,000, like 43 and some change. Okay. Now, this equipment is all paid off. It's ready to go. It's got low hours. I've comparatively priced it against every piece of equipment that's similar in what it's going for online. All right. Through private sellers, dealers, whatever. That is the best accurate resale that I can put on this equipment. Now, I understand that dealers have to make money. That is their job. And I understand that everybody's out there trying to make a profit. But for Dooms, it's a little bit different. I want to make sure I'm getting a good deal. I want to feel good when I walk away from a transaction. I don't want to feel like I got raked over the coals while the dealer's laughing all the way to the bank, pocketing shit tons of money off my hard work. Okay, that's where I'm at. So I find this skid steer that was competitively priced at $28,900. All right. Now that's about the average that they're going for, right? So, okay. So I've got a trade. And they says, yes, we'll take a trade. And I said, okay. I said, well, this is everything it comes with, et cetera, going back and forth with the salesman. Okay. So I understand there's no way in hell they're going to give me an even up trade because they don't get cash right off that sale right off the bat. And they are just trading out one piece of equipment that they're sitting on for another. So I understand the frustration in that. I understand dealers can't stay open doing that. If they only traded even up, they'd go out of fucking business. I know that's not how it works. Now, for me, I was expecting them to come in with a trade of about $25,000, which is low, and I probably would not take it, but that's what I was expecting them to come in with. I have got this equipment appraised for trade before. And the last time I got it appraised was in October and they came in at $26,000. I said, no, that's too low. I'm not taking it. Now I'm all for, whoever I'm wheeling and dealing with for them to make a profit as well. So my bottom line for trade is $29,000. That's my bottom line for trade on the equipment. If we're adding in the trailer to that trade and it's a package deal all in one out the fucking door, I could probably take a little bit more of a hit and probably be out the door at like $31,000 on a trade. Now, with that being said, on that trade, whatever dealer would resell that would have a profit margin of about $10,000. Once you take away tax and advertising and all those things, they're not walking away with a shit ton of money, but they're definitely clearing $7,000, definitely, which I think is a pretty substantial amount of money to profit simply by me taking a piece of equipment in there and trading it on something else, right? Now, these dealers don't list things what they pay for them, right? Their job is to make a profit. So say if they pay, so the skid steer I'm looking at for $28,900, they probably pick this thing up for the neighborhood of like somewhere in between 20 and 25, I'm assuming. Right, they didn't buy it at $28,000 and listed it for $28,900 to make a $900 profit and go through the work of advertising everything else. It's not worth it. They go out of business. So the dealer comes back with an offer to me for my machine and all the implements, comes back in for a price of $20,000. Now, I'm going to break this down for you guys. You tell me if I'm crazy. The tractor by itself has a resale value of $25,000. Okay. So if they would give me just $20,000 just for the tractor on trade, I could see that. Yeah, that you got a profit margin you got to make. Yeah. But with all the implements and attachments, no. The backhoe attachment alone retails right now currently used for $8,500, right? So the tractor goes used for right at $25,000. So you do the math on that. I'm being shortchanged just by the tractor with the backhoe and no other attachments. I'm being shortchanged over $10,000 fucking dollars right off the rip. Not to mention, I would still owe them about $9,000 to buy their equipment. So when he came in with the price of 20 and me knowing what I have has resale value at 39,950. So you might as well say 40 grand right off the rip. They're making a $20,000 profit. Then you factor in, I got to buy their equipment with an additional $8,900. Might as well just call it $9,000. So at the end of the day, they're making a $29,000 profit off of me. Do you see how that works? Do you see why I'm shitty and I felt this was something that needed to be talked about? So they're basically going to sell me a skid steer and make the exact money back that the skid steer was off what I'm trading in. And I don't know what kind of suckers out there are like buying this information, but I just don't I don't think that, I don't think that they're either like absolutely insane and they did not price things correctly, right? Or they are just that fucking bold to where they thought they would try it so they could walk away to the bank laughing. Now, to go back to this, I mean, my bottom line for trade is 29,000 on this equipment. Now, the piece of equipment they have is like right around the same price. So I understand they're not going to trade me even up and just walk away. So my thought process was kind of along the lines of, well, let's work a deal. You get me as close as you can to this on trade, and we start dropping off implements and attachments for how far away we are. So if you tell me you can only do 26, okay, that's fine. At 26, I'll give you the tractor, I'll give you the brush hog, but you get nothing else. If they say that doesn't work for us, we need more, I say, okay, you do 26.5, I give you the brush hog, the tractor, the front bucket, and the forklift, right? Like let's wheel and deal. If they say, no, that's not enough, I say, okay, well, you've hit a breaking point with me. We have to start going up because the implements are going up now in cost. So I feel like there's a way to work a deal there. And I guess like where I've landed at is I am going to call this dealer back today and say, hey, I want you to give me a cost breakdown of what you valued these implements and attachments at. Like, I want to know that you did your due diligence because the price that you came in with is extremely low. So I think there may have been some things missed on this. So we gotta go back through this again. You got to tell me what all you priced out here because something's missing. Something's not right here. Okay. Now, if I wasn't so headstrong on wanting this skid steer, I would probably just drop it and walk away. So I went and did some figuring, and I figured that I could just list this thing myself for self as a package deal. All right. To sweeten the deal, I could run a package deal at $40,000. Okay. And that would be all the implementation, all the equipment, everything else. Okay. Like, all of it in one crack, bring me 40 grand, it's yours. But then I could also piecemeal this out. All right. Now I could piecemeal it out in the sense that like I could just sell the brush hog. I could just sell the backhoe attachment. I could just sell the box blade. I could just sell the front end loader. I could just sell things individually. Right. And if I sell them individually, I'll still make a pretty fucking substantial profit, a lot more than 20 grand. Now, the other thing I can do with this is, we talk about smart financial decisions and money and things like that. I can take this money and I have a special little account, okay? And in the special little account, I can put money in there and it can earn interest. Now, the interest I cannot touch once it's earned, but I can pull money in and out of the account as much as I want as long as I don't take out the earned interest. That's how this account works, right? So if I sell everything with this machine, I can go ahead, put everything in there, shop around for the machine that I want, earn the interest while I'm shopping, okay? And then whenever I find the machine I want, I can go ahead and just take the money back out. I'll keep the earned interest in there and then boom, buy the equipment. So that's what we're leaning toward more now. But also, if I cap out and I'm able to say, get the 40 grand from sale, all right, and I'm sitting on that and I have it, well, now you're talking to go buy a new machine, you're talking, maybe tacking on an extra 15 to 20,000 on top of that, and you could go out and buy a brand new piece of equipment. Now, with financing and how everything works, it's kind of like, well, financing an additional, putting that money down, then financing the rest. I mean, that's a relatively low, affordable monthly payment. So, in the grand scheme of things, that may be a better option. Or you find one that's a certified used one. Maybe you have 40 grand. Maybe the dealer's asking 45. You work a deal and say, hey, dude, look, I got 40 grand cash. What can we do on this to get me closer to what I have so we don't have to go through financing? And if that guy says, well, I'll tell you what, I can do the 40 and I can get you out the door, but you're going to have to pay some additional things, like, because there's this, and this. And maybe it's a thing where you end up exiting at like 42.5, but that's still doable. Maybe you find that deal that works for you. But the area I'm in, I've never been around like dealers and people and, everybody else that's just so headstrong on screwing people over. I've had to drive so far outside of the area that I'm in to get deals. It's absolutely insane. And it's like, it's an area specific thing. And I swear to God, this is what happens. So a lot of people I know in the area, when they buy vehicles and stuff, they always go somewhere else. Like, they will drive 5 hours away to go get a deal on something because they know they simply won't get it here, and trying to waste their time in this area on something just isn't worth it. You're talking, most things you see are well marked up over Blue Book. And when you go with the trade, they're coming in way under Blue Book, right? So I just, in my eyes, something's drastically wrong with the sales tactics of our area. I don't think for a second that this is going to continue to last in this area like it has been, because we have more outsiders coming in that are not going to tolerate this shit. And I'm watching dealers of things, go away overnight. An example of this is I went down there. We had a shed place in town. They sold sheds. Okay. And I go down there. They had one that was repossessed. And it was like, repo deal today, blah, 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 like all these flashy signs. And I go in there, I was like, hey man, I want to check out the repoed models. And they're like, all right, well, there's this one right here. And I was like, what do you want for that one? They're like, well, we're trying to get 10 grand. I was like, what was it new? They were like, oh, it was 11.5 new. And I'm like, well, what did the guy pay on it already? And he's like, well, we can't tell you that. And we really don't have that information. The finance company does. And I'm like, listen, dude, I said, I don't know if this guy had this thing halfway paid off and you guys have already made half the profit on this, and now you're trying to make an additional profit over top of what this thing's normally valued at. I said, but that's not for me, right? I said, I'd be happy to give you this amount for it. And, they were real dickheads. They were like, no, we're not doing it. No. Well, about 6 months later, they're out of fucking business because they couldn't sell shit. And they couldn't sell shit because they're doing crooked shit. They're over fucking priced. Now they're gone. They're officially out the door. They no longer fucking exist. Because nobody was buying their shit because it was all overpriced. You could go buy a fucking shed anywhere. Home Depot sells sheds, Lowe's sells sheds. I mean, there's always one available somewhere. Like every fucking corner, there's a shed place. So you have to have good relations with the general public. You have to have things going good for you. And now they're fucking just gone, right? They're gone. I've been seeing the same thing with car dealerships in the area too. A car dealership will pop up. You'll see the same car sitting there for a fucking year and then they're gone. They're out of business. And I say all that to say this economy is starting to take a shift to where people aren't okay getting fucked anymore. And they would rather travel. They would rather get on a plane. They would rather go to the ends of the earth to save a little bit of money versus getting fucked over conveniently. Conveniently fucked up the ass is what a lot of these retailers are doing, what a lot of these dealerships are doing. And I think people are really coming to a breaking point where they're like, no, I had enough. I'm not doing that. Like, no, I'll shop around. I'll buy used. I'll go out of town. I'll take 6 more months and I'll hunt for another deal. Like, no, I'm not doing it. And then every once in a while, a sucker might come in there that just helps keep the lights on. And then that's the end. And then the other thing that these fucking morons are not realizing is that everybody has the power of the internet now. So the idea of looking up what your shit's actually worth and seeing what it sells for online is a tool that everybody has in their pocket now. So you can't do these shady ass fucking practices anymore. You can't do it. It's just it's a non-doable thing. You can't do it anymore. Also with that device they have in their pocket where they can look up if they're getting a fair deal or not, they could also hunt out other deals. Then the flip side to that is also you can review these companies all over the internet. So as they're being reviewed for these salesmen shitty tactics, it's just hurting their business by doing this because they're putting this shit out there online. So you bet your ass after I call this dealer back today and I say, hey, I just want you to go through all the attachments and implements that you had because I want to know what you put the value of these things at because I know what resale on these is. So I just want to see where you were at and make sure you had everything listed correctly because your number was so far off. I feel like you have to be missing something here. And if they give me shit, if they say they can't do that, we are going straight to the Google machine and we are reviewing them. And it's going to be a very simple, avoid these guys. They're just trying to take you to the cleaners, et cetera, et cetera. And they tried to walk away with $30K of my money on an unfair fucking deal. And that's it. Like, that is it. I will write a very healthy, long-winded Google review that details everything. And I knew that this was coming. I know because the salesmen in these areas, they have this tactic where they put you on the back burner to where you get excited for when they finally call, or they blow you off for a day or two, hoping that you will be more intrigued to get back with them. And then you'll be more accepting of their shitty fucking offer. But that doesn't work for me because I used to be in sales a little bit and I know how this shit works. So, yeah, we know how it works. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this this episode of the Doom Daily Show. I wanted to give you guys kind of an ad-free thing for the most part, just so I could rant and ramble, and maybe you guys enjoy that for the weekend. And then, my gift to you on Friday is a mildly ad-free episode. Mildly ad-free. We'll be back on Monday because we have to talk about, if you don't know yet, Trump's getting ready to redo the Affordable Care Act and all that shit. Just latest and breaking news, right? So we're going to find out what's going on over the weekend. We'll be back to cover that on Monday morning. Everybody have a great weekend. Producer Scooter, if you would, hit that button, sir.
News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.